What are the pros and cons of living in Draper, Utah? Hang tight, we're going to discuss it. Draper is one of the most southern subdivisions of the Salt Lake City area. In fact, it's called before the point of the mountain, that's Traverse Mountain. So it's the furthest south before you get into Utah County. So let's just talk about an overview and then the pros and cons of living in Draper. Known for its scenic views, proximity to the Wasatch Mountains, and growing tech presence, Draper has become an attractive place for families, professionals, and outdoor enthusiasts. So again, everybody wants to know, right? What's the pros? What's the cons? I'm from out of state, moved here about 3 years ago. When my wife and I first moved here, we actually lived in Draper for the first year. We absolutely loved it. Now there are pros and there are cons. Let's talk about the cons. The very first con, and probably most important, is cost of living. Now, Draper is more expensive than many other parts of Utah, including here in the Valley area on the Wasatch Front. Particularly, it's more expensive when it comes to housing. Home prices and property taxes have increased in recent years. So that does make it a little bit harder for first-time home buyers. Now, if you're moving in, just make sure that you know the taxes and also the home prices. And they are going to be a little bit more expensive than other subdivisions in the area. What's another con? Traffic and commute times. Now again, as we mentioned, if you work downtown, this is the most southern subdivision in the Salt Lake City Valley area. So as Draper has grown, so has congestion, especially on I-15 during the rush hour. Remember I mentioned in one of my videos, it's the I-15 corridor. It's the highway that runs from north to south all the way through the state of Utah. Now there are some public transportation options, but they are limited. There's the track system, which I personally like. I like getting on the train. It's easy to get to downtown, so if you don't mind a little bit of a commute, there is some public transportation, but it is limited. One other con that people have noticed is the limited nightlife. Now, if you have a family, maybe that won't affect you so much. It is family-oriented, but Draper does lack a vibrant nightlife or arts scene compared to downtown Salt Lake City. There are some dining options. There's a lot of chains here, but it can be limited unless you're willing to drive to another subdivision. One other con is rapid development pressure. There's huge growth in this area, and this has brought challenges such as construction noise, increased traffic, and pressure on infrastructure. Some longtime residents have lived in Draper for some time are concerned about maintaining the city's small town feel because it is growing so quickly. One other con that we're going to talk about, that's air quality. Now, actually the air quality in Draper, because it is farther away from downtown and it's also a little bit higher, is not as bad, but you will experience some poor air quality. One of my videos I mentioned that's the inversion. Sometimes in the summer you will get wildfire smoke, which can be a concern for sensitive groups, especially if they have respiratory problems. So those are some of the cons. But let's really focus on the pros. And I believe personally, as one that moved out of state, that there are definitely more pros than cons to living in Draper. A huge pro is the beauty and outdoor access. Draper is surrounded by natural beauty with easy access to hiking, biking, skiing in the nearby mountains. The Corner Canyon Trail system is a popular destination for outdoor lovers, offering hundreds of acres of preserved land. If you're into biking, there's no shortage of biking trails, and mountain biking is just phenomenal in the Draper area. So one of my favorite drives through Utah, through the Salt Lake Valley, is actually located in Draper. So let's just take a few minutes and take this drive Enjoy this drive with me. It goes up through the beautiful community of Suncrest, which is actually in Salt Lake County, and it's also part in Utah County. But it's one of the best kept secrets, I feel, that's in the Salt Lake area. So please enjoy this drive with me. So what you're seeing now is I just come off of I-15, took a right on Traverse Ridge Road, and this is literally only about maybe a half mile off of I-15. As you can see, the drive starts out very, very beautiful with the Wasatch Mountains. To the east of you, there are some communities along the way, not much. You'll see a lot of wildlife. Be careful on this drive, a lot of deer. In fact, on this drive, unfortunately, I did see a dead deer, so you just have to be careful. Especially at dusk. You don't need really a four-wheel drive. They clean this road pretty good, but the views are just spectacular. I mean, right now it's in the middle of May. You can still see the white cap. You'll see down into the valley, into the Salt Lake Valley. Just a second, you're going to see that view. One of my favorite sunset areas is right here. It's called Potato Hill. And the cool thing about Potato Hill is you get the sunset, but then you get a 360 view as well. Now we're going to go up to the Suncrest community, as you just saw the sign. And the views up here are spectacular. Again, on Traverse Ridge Road, you don't need a four-wheel drive. If you do want to move up here, this is all Draper. You may need a four-wheel drive. If you do not like snow, this area is not for you. So don't even think about it if you don't like snow, because there's going to be a lot of snow. Now this part is coming down into Utah County. So the first part of Suncrest is in Salt Lake County. That's Draper. Draper's in 2 counties. But then you start coming in down into Utah County. This is a very nice community. Suncrest, they have a very inexpensive HOA. They have a great community center, pool, basketball courts, pickleball, everything that you want to do that a community can offer. So coming around, you see one of the highest peaks in the Salt Lake Valley, Utah County. That's Mount Timpanogos. It's beautiful on the other side. On the south side of Mount Timpanogos is Sundance. So that's a really fun place. But you're coming down now into Utah County. That's the city of Alpine. To your west, that would be the city of Lehigh. A lot of nice things to do there. There's an outlet. It's called Traverse Outlets. A lot of restaurants, a lot of breweries. So it's a great place. And hopefully that's Utah Lake that you see there. And then that's some of the views from Suncrest. So I hope you enjoyed this drive. Well, I hope you enjoyed that drive with me. Another pro that's Draper is a strong economy and job market. Draper is part of Utah's booming tech corridor, often referred to as Silicon Slopes. Companies like Adobe and Pluralsight have presence nearby, creating strong employment opportunities in tech and in business. A huge pro that many people find very attractive is a very friendly family environment. There's excellent public schools in the area, low crime rates, and a community-centered atmosphere. Draper is considered a great place to raise a family. The city invests in parks, libraries, and youth sports programs. Another huge pro is convenient location. Draper offers easy freeway access to Salt Lake City. On I-15, it's about 20 to 25 minutes away, and also making their way down south to Provo, making it ideal for commuters. It's also near major highways, and the Salt Lake International Airport is only about 20 minutes away. Another huge pro is well-planned growth. The city really has managed its growth with attention to quality of life. New developments often include green space, and there's a focus on preserving natural areas while accommodating population growth. So just in conclusion, what did you come up with? Draper, Utah. It offers a high quality of life, especially for families and professionals who enjoy outdoor recreation and a suburban lifestyle with access to big city amenities. However, higher housing costs, growing pains from development, and environmental concerns should be weighed when considering a move. Having said all of that, as I mentioned, my wife and I, for the first year living here, we actually ended up renting a place. We absolutely love Draper. And if we have the opportunity, we will move back to Draper whenever that's possible. So if you'd like more information on Draper, I love that neighborhood. I would love to show any of you a house in that neighborhood. Remember, at the end here, just right here, you'll see my QR code. Sign up, we'll get a free consultation. We can even start looking at houses. Other than that, everybody, next week focus in on Draper and see some of the amenities that they offer. So that way you can kind of get a feel for the city of Draper. Other than that, have a great week. Bye.